Hey guys, welcome to a video where we talk about the foul facts of history. In this volume, we are going to talk about the putrid pirates. Pirates have been around for a long time, from the days of the ancient Greeks to the present day. The word conjures images of swashbuckling heroes like Captain Hook and Long John Silver, tearing over maps of desert islands marked with an X. In reality, they were a bunch of nasty, smelly baddies who thought nothing of chopping up innocent people to get at their treasure. Who's the pirate? Alexander the Great was losing a lot of cash to the pirates or sea robbers of ancient Greece, so he decided to get rid of them. He captured one of the pirate leaders and asked him what he thought he was doing, terrifying all the shipping and nicking all Alexander's stuff. What could the pirate say to that? He told Alex that he was doing the same thing as him but on a smaller scale. Since I do it on a small ship, I am called a pirate. Because you do it with a great fleet, you are called an emperor. Nice answer, Mr. Pirate. Unholy smoke. Blackbeard was the nickname of the legendary pirate Edward Teach. He was much feared and used to set fire to slow burning papers under his hat so that he looked even more frightening. Not that he needed to. Even so, women seemed to find him attractive. He supposedly had 14 wives. Die Hard. Blackbeard was so tough that when he eventually met his end, he took a long time to die. He was hunted down in 1718 and which trapped was challenged to a duel. He was shot and stabbed 25 times before he finally and literally hit the deck. Rid of the junk. Sharp and Zai, or should that be Sharp and Gutsy, was a Chinese pirate. One of his fleets, captained by an ex barber called Chui Apo, was wiped out by the British Navy, who decided that Chinese pirates were getting too big for their boots. How did they do it? The Brits cornered the junks, Chinese ships, in the mouth of the river where the Chinese thought that they would be safe. But when the tide went out, the junks were positioned so that their guns were pointing at each other and not at their enemy. So the Brits blitzed them. How awful! Buccaneers were 17th century pirates who attacked the Spanish in the Caribbean. They got their name from the word bucan, which was a type of barbecue. Don't ask. They were a gruesome bunch, known for their cruelty. One buccaneer, called Le Olonais, cut off the heart of a Spanish prisoner and shoved it into the mouth of another. Then he chopped both prisoners into small bits. Who goes there? All ships would fire a cannon shot to warn another ship to show their flag to say who they were and where they came from. Pirates would cheat by showing the flag of a country friendly with the victims and then they would shout, Hive too, which meant stop. If the merchant ship wouldn't do as the pirates said, they would throw a grappling iron at its rigging to pull it close. They used axes to climb up the wooden sides of the boat and sometimes chucked metal spikes onto the desk so that the sailors, who were usually barefoot, would inquire themselves and be out of action. Hot Holmes. Another pirate, Rock Brasiliano, spit roasted two Spanish farmers alive because they wouldn't hand over the pigs to feed the pirate crew. Okay, said Rock, if you won't let us eat your pigs, we'll eat you instead. Famous fatales. Sometimes the pirates would pretend to be women and wear broad brimmed women's hats to fool the other ship. As soon as it heaved to, they would throw off their disguise and jump aboard. During the splits, Islamic pirates were called barbarians by the Europeans and were therefore known as the Barbary Corsairs. At the time of the Crusades, which means the wars between the Christians and the Muslims, at the end of the 11th century, each side did some horrible things to their prisoners. One of the nasty things the Barbary pirates did to the captured Christians was to tie their feet to one ship and their hands to another, and for the ships to sail apart. Ouch! It gives a new meaning to being torn in two directions. The lucky ones were captured as slaves and had to row the galley or ship. Others were often starved or beaten to death. Another bunch of pirates got beheaded in 1573, all 31 after the other, in the market square in Hamburg. The executioner sliced off their heads so quickly that he was sloshing around in their blood. The heads were then displayed as a war. Down in one. Vikings were not only good pirates, they were also pretty heavy drinkers. There was a chap named Strodebeker, which meant jug or beaker, at one swallow, because to get into his gang, would be pirates had to be able to down a load of lager at one go. Strung up, the king of Persia showed absolutely no mercy to pirates. His nickname was Lord of the Shoulders because whenever he captured a pirate crew, he skewered them through the shoulder blades and threaded them all together on a rope. Sir Pirate. From the 16th to the 18th century, some pirates were given government permission or license to steal from enemy ships. These pirates were called privateers. All the pirates had to do was to give the king half of their booty. Francis Drake was a privateer and was so highly thought of by Queen Elizabeth I that she knighted him, which meant everyone had to call him Sir from there on. Rich rogues. There were many gentlemen pirates who were well respected and admired. No one seemed to realize that there were two thieves and murderers. One who didn't quite get away with it was Captain Kidd, who was a businessman in New York. He lived at a time when pirates were considered a bad thing. He was set off on a pirate hunting expedition but did a few privately things on his own, persuaded of course by his crew, which while he was out hunting them. When he got home, he was hanged. So that is all for this part, guys. See you in the part 2 of this volume.